Vietnam is sunken in a sea of water. Rooftop high flash floods in Thai Nguyen, Hanoi deeply flooded, traffic paralyzed. Ladies and gentlemen, Thai Nguyen and Hanoi, October 7, 2025. As soon as night fell on October 6, torrential rains continued throughout the night until the morning of the 7th. Storm number 11, Storm Matmo, combined with wind circulation and air convergence from high altitudes, turned many urban areas into a giant sea of water, deep flooding, traffic paralyzed, residents isolated, and the risk of natural disasters lurking everywhere. The rain did not just come, but came with terrible intensity, unexpectedly and for a long time. In the past 12 hours, Thai Nguyen recorded rainfall ranging from 300 to 500 millimeters, a number that makes all drainage systems seem helpless. The Cau River water level has exceeded the historical threshold by about 0.5 meters, pushing 89 communes and wards into high-risk areas for flash floods and landslides. The Meteorological Agency has announced figures in some communes: Hoa Thuong, 526 mm Dong Quang, 446 mm Nam Hoa, 459 mm Then Con Hoa, 389 mm Tan Long, 327 mm. Those numbers are not just dry lines, they are each heavy rain, each drop of water falling loudly on the corrugated iron roof, splashing onto the sidewalk and flowing strongly all over the street corner. Once the rain continues, the drainage system runs out, the roads are flooded deeper and deeper. Many roads in Thai Nguyen are flooded from 0.5 to 0.8 meters, deeper places can exceed 1 meter. Streets such as Luang Nak Thien, Ninh Cao, Hoang Van Tu, Hong Bong, Nha Trang, Ben Tuong, Phan Dinh Phung Ward are submerged in water. Other communes and wards such as Tik Luong, Quay Phang, Lin Sun, Quan Tru, and Con, Dai Tu, Quan Chu, Dai Phuc, La Bang, Phu Suyen, Diem Thuy, Song Pong, could not avoid the scene of water covering the alleys. Many houses had to witness water pouring in from the door, flooding the ground floor, spreading into the living room. Kitchen, cars and motorbikes, means of transport, became water trucks, flooded from 1 to 2 meters deep. Many of them could not start. Not only Thai Nguyen, the capital Hanoi was also submerged in prolonged heavy rain this morning. Every corner, small road, and big street is facing the risk of deforming into small rivers. The average rainfall in Hanoi during this period is about 90 to 150 millimeters, in some places over 220 millimeters. More than 70 flooded spots were recorded this morning, of which about 30 were deeply flooded, causing traffic paralysis on many routes. The districts and counties that were heavily affected were Hoi Duc, Ha Dong, Han Giang, Cao Zai, Tu Lin, Chuang Mai, Son Mai and the central area. The rain was not as heavy as in Thai Nguyen, but because it lasted for many hours, the drainage and sewer systems could not cope, causing the water to incubate and accumulate. The Hanoi Drainage Company mobilized all its forces and pumping stations to work hard to rescue the seriously flooded areas. However, under the pressure of the rain and rising water, many streets were still submerged in water. Pedestrians had to wade through the muddy water, cars stalled, and motorbikes drifted. In Thai Nguyen, the situation of people stuck was no longer a rare sight. On the morning of October 7th, on roads such as Hoang Van Tu, Luang Nak Thien in the bridge section on Bac Con Road, the water rose high, flowing strongly. In some places it was nearly 0.5 meters deep. Traffic was frozen for many hours. Some households had to climb onto the roof to wait for rescue forces, because the ground floor was completely flooded. In some places, houses, properties, and furniture were swept away by the water like fallen leaves in the wind. People panicked, struggling to find a way to survive. Faced with this situation, the chairman of the Thai Nguyen Provincial People's Committee issued an urgent order. requesting localities to urgently notify and request households in areas at risk of flooding to evacuate to safe places. Absolutely not leaving people in dangerous areas. The evacuation order was issued urgently to protect people's lives, because when the flood rises quickly, no one can predict how high it will go. In Hanoi, groups of motorbikes and bicycles carried people wading through the water. Some families have to switch to online learning, workers have to take time off work. The already chaotic life becomes even more chaotic. Children are off school, people are reluctant to go out, the image of crowded urban areas becomes deserted, people avoid the water. Alarming signs. Water levels in rivers continue to rise, exceeding the alarm level and potentially posing a new historical flood risk at Gia Bay Station. The water level is forecast to exceed the level 3 alarm peak by about 2 to 2.3 meters, higher than the historical flood peak in 2024, 28.81 meters. At Chom Hua Station, the flood peak can reach 59.50 meters, exceeding the level 3 alarm by about 1.5 meters. According to the assessment, the level of natural disaster risk due to floods is determined at level 3, that is, a high level of danger. When the flood rises rapidly, not only the risk of flooding but also flash floods, landslides in mountainous areas, riverbanks, and mountainous areas become more frightening than ever. Faced with this tragic situation, the government and functional forces have worked hard. Urgent telegram of Thai Nguyen Provincial People's Committee requesting local authorities to notify and warn people about dangerous areas. Deploying forces to guard and patrol flooded and landslide areas. Do not leave people in dangerous areas, evacuate to safe places. Mobilizing firefighting forces, army, and police to access isolated areas to supply food and necessities. Hanoi Drainage Company arranging human resources and vehicles to be on duty at key flooded areas. Activating pumping stations to pump water, reducing flood pressure. Coordinating with local authorities to support traffic and warn people. Warning from Thai Nguyen Hydrometeorological Station: heavy to very heavy rain is forecast on October 7th and 8th, commonly 100 to 170 millimeters. Warning of natural disasters due to heavy rain level 1, especially the risk of landslides in steep areas. List of high-risk areas: Nam Quang, Cho Ra, Ba Bi, Phan Din Phong, Tik Luong, Jia Sang. Lin Sun. Mobilizing support forces. The Provincial Military Command and Thai Nguyen Provincial Police have been mobilized to the scene to support people. Emergency rescue teams, volunteers, and social organizations have been mobilized to provide food and medicine. Information and communication work has been strengthened to provide timely warnings and avoid disorientation. Along with the numbers and instructions, there are many heartbreaking stories, imbued with the anxiety and resilience of the people. Some families had to bring their children to high floors to avoid the flood, bring bread and water, and wait for morning to move to a safe place. Some people came home from work and saw the flooded road with no way out, so they had to leave their vehicles in the middle of the stream and wade through the water to get home. Many people brought buckets and basins to collect rainwater from their roofs, because when the rain was too heavy, the metal roofs could not bear it and leaked everywhere. Some livestock farms were also affected. Livestock and poultry died, barns were swept away by the flood, and all the feed for the livestock was spoiled. The climate did not give anyone a break. The rain seemed to test people's hearts, who persevered, who backed down. When the rain continuously ate away at the topsoil and stable foundation, mountainous areas and foothill areas became earthquakes waiting to explode, especially communes and villages located on mountain slopes, foothills, and streams are very susceptible to landslides. Especially when the water flows down slippery and the soil pressure increases. The combination of heavy rain and steep terrain makes areas such as Nam Quang, Cho Ra, Ba Bi, Tik Luong become red spots for natural disasters. When the ground cracks, the ravines are level. A small explosion can drag a giant wall of earth down to the residential area, destroying houses, flattening trees, and sweeping away people and livestock. A landslide only comes in a split second, without any clear warning. And when it comes, we can only rely on being prepared and evacuating in time. In this battle against natural disasters, every individual and every organization has a role. State and government must continue to monitor and operate the early warning system continuously, not letting the situation of raining and then warning. Strengthen the monitoring system, cameras, flood gauges, and timely warning of dangerous areas. Have a plan to support residents in the core area: food, clean water, medicine, safe shelters. Coordinate with other sectors, waterways, transportation, military, health, police, to handle incidents promptly. People always follow weather reports and flood warnings. Do not be subjective before floods. When receiving warnings or seeing signs of prolonged heavy rain and rising water, move to higher floors or to a safe evacuation site immediately. Prepare necessary items: drinking water, dry food, flashlights, rechargeable batteries, medicine, life jackets, life buoys, life jackets if near deep water. Do not travel in deep water. Do not cross fast-flowing water. Do not let children play near the riverbank when it rains. Social and volunteer organizations can organize teams to support evacuation, rescue, distribute rice, dry food, clean water, blankets to people in affected areas. Create groups that report floods at the grassroots level, groups via Zalo, text messages, local loudspeakers to warn people. Mobilize machinery, equipment, and healthy people to support clearing trees, mud, and help the elderly and sick move. Rain is forecast to continue in the coming days. This is not the end, but just the middle of the game. On October 7th and 8th, Thai Nguyen is expected to continue to have heavy to very heavy rain, from 100 to 170 millimeters per day. Hanoi may still maintain rainfall of 30 to 70 millimeters, concentrated from morning to noon. Low-lying areas, old flooded areas, high slopes prone to landslides, or riverbanks and riverside areas need to be put on red alert status. If drastic measures are not taken, floods will continue to rise, drainage systems will continue to be overloaded, roads will be flooded, schools will be suspended, traffic will be paralyzed, and new disasters may pile up on disasters. Vietnam is submerged in water today is not just a sensational headline, it is a reality that everyone is feeling: heavy rain, soft ground, water flooding into houses. People startled in the dark night, shocked by the sound of landslides. But in the midst of that darkness, there is still hope. If the government is steadfast, the people are calm. The rescue team is steadfast. If the connection, information, and direction are transmitted to each household before the rain comes. We cannot stop the rain, but we can prevent it from taking away people's safety. We cannot prevent natural floods, but we can reduce the damage if we know how to respond in time. We cannot control the rocks and soil, but we can warn early, evacuate in time. The harsh rainy season is coming. People must rush into battle with nature, to save lives, to keep their homes, to keep their spirits. Hopefully, in those rushing waters, there are still hands reaching out to save people. In that gloomy sky, there are still flashlights guiding people to move. In that wet ground, there are still timely warning loudspeakers. We, from leaders, functional forces to each family, let's stand up, prepare, coordinate, and be vigilant. Because natural disasters do not wait for anyone. And when they come, only sharing, being alert and proactive can help us overcome this historic stormy day. Thank you, and you who are watching the news, please subscribe to the channel to follow the next news.